Hi then, and hello again, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. So I was just watching some videos over on Elaine's channel, JW Escape, and she's been doing her recaps on the 2020 Always Rejoice Convention of Jehovah's Witnesses. And this particular one, she was covering the Saturday afternoon part 2. And as I watched the video clips from the convention, I was reminded of a quote that I came across back when I was doing my research into the Watchtower organization. What struck me was the stark contrast between the quote that I remembered and what was being shown in the videos. Now, I went back and looked it up, and it's from the July 2009 Awake magazine in an article called, "Is It Wrong to Change a Religion?" In there, on page 29, is the following quote.
No one should be forced to worship in a way that he finds unacceptable, or be made to choose between his beliefs and his family.
Now, I completely agree with that quote. That's fair and reasonable, isn't it? So as I watched the videos, I couldn't help thinking, has there been new light in regards to the sentiment of that quote? Here's what I mean. Let's watch.
When I was still in elementary school, not yet baptized myself, I used to speak about Jehovah to one of my classmates. Her name was Oana. She was very interested and even asked many questions. We were both 12 at that time. A little while later, after I got baptized, Oana became my first Bible student. Not surprisingly, difficulties arose on the way. Oana's mother was not happy at all that I was studying with her daughter. She forbade her to study, and one day she asked her to choose between family and Jehovah and put her out of the house. Oana was 16 years old.
No one should be forced to worship in a way that he finds unacceptable, or be made to choose between his beliefs and his family.
Out in service one day, just working door to door, I met a lady, and she accepted the Greatest Man book. Eventually, memorial season came around. I went and left an invitation with Jane. We went back the day before the memorial and were surprised when Jane said, yes, we'd love to come. So we talked about a Bible study, and eventually Jerry agreed to having one as a family.
But there was a contrast from what I'd been taught, so I was willing to dig for more knowledge to try and figure out what was going on here.
He read scripture and Psalms about the earth, and I said, wow, yes, all the things I pictured myself doing in heaven is the things I enjoy on earth. It made me happy, yet can I really dare believe that?
In the Pennsylvania German culture, people teach pretty strongly obedience to parents to make God happy. One day, Jerry lets me know that his dad wants to talk to me.
Although my dad meant it well, he tried to stop the study. But the information that he was bringing to me about the witnesses is not what I saw.
You could tell they were just distraught as a family with what was going on. They wanted to do the right thing, but they could feel all the pressure to stop.
We eventually had to cut ties in order to continue spiritual growth.
No one should be forced to worship in a way that he finds unacceptable, or be made to choose between his beliefs and his family.
I used to study with this young girl. She wanted to make progress in the truth. But in order for her to do that, she had to overcome these two biggest obstacles. One was this career that she had, and the other was the obstacle from her unbelieving family. I really don't want to impose the truth on her. So eventually she had to tell her mother-in-law that she had resigned from her employment. So her mother-in-law says, and now you've resigned? So what you're going to do? You're going to go preaching?
No one should be forced to worship in a way that he finds unacceptable, or be made to choose between his beliefs and his family.
Lydia was a young woman who was very interested in spiritual things. But just like anyone that does not study the Bible, she had habits that were not pleasing to Jehovah. She liked to socialize with her workmates, and at times she went out drinking with her friends. Sometimes drinking a little too much. So we set the date to start the study. We always tried to be consistent and to not miss a study. When a publisher does not miss the day and time for the study, the devil is not given the opportunity to disrupt it. Some teachings Lydia accepted immediately, but others took more time. Her manner of dress was not appropriate. She wore tight clothing and very short skirts. How did we correct that? When you plant a literal plant, you start to water it and it keeps growing. While you're sleeping, you don't know how those changes happen. It happens exactly the same way with a Bible student.
No one should be forced to worship in a way that he finds unacceptable, or be made to choose between his beliefs and his family.
Do not be misled. Bad associations spoil useful habits. Okay, but what's good associations?
Well, we have wholesome gatherings with our brothers and sisters from the congregation. And we eat and talk, and some like to play musical instruments, and they'll do renditions of original songs. And we have a really nice time.
Yeah, I don't do that.
It's not boring.
Sure it's not.
Well, what do you do?
Yeah, you wouldn't do that.
A minister should also be free from all non-medical use of addictive or mind-altering substances.
Non-medical? But taking something when I'm feeling a little stressed, like maybe, I don't know, a little weed, that's okay, right? And it's for the stress. I guess I didn't quite understand what medical meant.
So we see you during the week.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you, Jodie.
Thanks.
We'll be back.
You can guess what our next few studies were about.
And you should continue to be made new in your dominant mental attitude.
Knowing it was wrong was easy. Figuring out how to cope without it wasn't. Beating it felt impossible. But Mum, listen.
No, Jade. You listen. Isn't this just another of your phases? It's time to move on, love. The holidays are our time. It's all I get from you. Promise me you'll be here. Promise.
No one should be forced to worship in a way that he finds unacceptable, or be made to choose between his beliefs and his family.
Did you notice any patterns?
Yeah, huh? Well, thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. And if you haven't seen either one of these two videos yet, check them out.